We are live on a Monday. What is going on? Well, I can tell you here in the MotoGP paddock, we may have 22 events, but there's no rest for the wicked. That's why they've sent me here to the Jerez Test post-GP. It is a tradition, of course. 2 updates. Glad to see that we've actually got some light this year. If you remember last year, we had the massive blackout across Spain and it caused all kinds of dramas. Second update is that it's warm. It's some of the best weather we've had actually all weekend. We obviously had the Jerez Grand Prix here. It was raining on Saturday a little bit too much. It was pleasant on Friday but cloudy. Sunday was warm, but today perfect conditions to go testing. Mainly because it's not too hot, so that means that the track is ideal for this kind of stuff. It is well rubbered in, so you get quite a decent indication of what's working, what's not. The only thing is here at this test here in Jerez is that you don't really see too much at this point because we're in 2026. A lot of development is going on for the 850s, which means that slowly but surely things are starting to wind down in this kind of modern era MotoGP thousands that we've had since 2012. It is the last of the monsters, you could say. Just to give you an overview of the day, last time we checked it was Alex Marquez who was top, Pedro Acosta was second. We've had a couple of crashes, both at turn 3. Diogo Moreira was the first one. Then we had Toprak Razgat Lioglu. That was a little bit of a big one for both of them because turn 3 is mega fast. So, you know, you got to be getting up from them, walking away. You don't want to be picking up an injury here in testing. Both of them are okay, we are told. What else? We had a kind of quite an interesting scenario about 11 o'clock more or less. The fastest 3 times were exactly identical. I think it was Bez, it was Acosta and it was Marc Marquez, and then the 2 next times, 4th and 5th place, they were actually equal as well. So the conditions are good here and it's very close, I've got to say. We'll come on to Yamaha in a bit. They've been spotted with a bit of aero, updates on the back of their machine. Ducati are trialling different kinds of fairings, some we've seen before. They're also using the latest modified chassis, so plenty to get stuck into. We're starting with KTM, mainly, reason A, because there's obviously a lot to talk about from the weekend. B, if we start here, we can just walk straight up pit lane and tick off everyone else. So let's bring in Aki Ayo. Aki, challenging Spanish GP, I think, would be fair to say. So how's the test going so far, and what are you working on to try and get back towards that top 5 we've seen you in the first 3 rounds?
Yes, as you said, that the weekend was not easy, that somehow expectations for sure this weekend was a bit different, but already we see on Friday that we have some challenges. And as I say many times, when we come to Europe, many things can be different, but of course Jerez is also it's different track. It's much more narrow track than many other tracks now. Let's say the new tracks in the championship, but beautiful track in any case. And of course Saturday didn't make, let's say, the development for dry conditions better. Of course it was helping maybe for result a little bit us on this tricky conditions on Saturday, but Sunday the reality was there and our pace was not as we want. But MotoGP now at the moment is a little bit like this, that we can see that it's not only us who is fighting. Everything is so close. So of course the difference between the race weekends can be bigger and it makes of course the competition really nice. But luckily we have a chance today. Test is never easy on Monday. Let's say that when grip is really good on Monday, many things on Monday always is much better than the reality. So we always need to count it. But of course, part of the test, some part of the test today, of course, it's also to analyze the weekend and double check some things. But of course, the main focus is for the development and at least we have quite stable conditions for this. Wind is maybe a little bit disturbing, but quite stable conditions. And one of the main issues is the aero package, the next homologation for that, and many other smaller items as well.
What are those other small items, and are you satisfied with the opening few hours that we've had here in Jerez so far from Brad and Pedro?
It's good start. As I say, that when it's more or less stable weather, it's good to do the things. And I would say that at least with the aero package, what we are testing, our, let's say, test team results are already promising, and also the first feeling this morning is positive. But let's see. And of course, it's not about the feeling only. We need to analyze everything very deeply then after test and before to make any decisions for the future.
Final question, 3 very different tracks coming up, Le Mans, then Catalunya, and then we go to Mugello and Balaton, so the next few Grand Prix are all very different from one to the next. What can we expect from KTM? I know Le Mans last year, we can't really read too much into it, but the other 3 tracks, particularly Catalunya last year, you were strong.
Yeah. And somehow we believe that we have made steps. As you already saw at the end of last year, we after summer break, we really make steps, and we continue it during winter with development. We did, I would say that improve understanding, and in this way made many good decisions as well, and work in the team, development, everything. For me, we are going forward. So in this job, you always need to have patience, and you cannot make too deep analysis with 1 or 2 weekends only, that you need to see long term, and we are confident that there will be tracks in the few weeks also which fits for us really well.
Aki, thanks for your time. See you in Le Mans.
Thanks a lot.
KTM then developing all the time. Thank you for that one, Aki. Let's move on then. I want to get up the road if I can because I need to get to Honda. Interesting stuff going on though in KTM. We've seen it time and time again, haven't we? When we get into a MotoGP season, we're starting at kind of different tracks that you're not necessarily in a what you'd consider normal, and then we get back to Europe and everything's very different again, and suddenly what you thought worked doesn't, and what you thought was going to be the pattern for the year isn't quite. So in terms of KTM, I think the big breakthrough with KTM was that you've got Enea Bastianini in Tech 3, who has actually been pretty impressive over the last 2 GPs. Now that's because Michelin have brought back the standard tyre. So that's just given Enea Bastianini so much more feel, much more confidence. He feels like he can push. So, very positive stuff for Enea. So at least when Pedro and Brad are having an off weekend, Enea can pull something out. Pedro's pace wasn't staggering this weekend. The wet, obviously, we don't know what he would have done in qualifying had it been dry. The thing that cost Pedro was that he got stuck in the opening part of this Grand Prix, and then he obviously had a collision which took his wings off. So that was with, I think, Ralph Fernandez, if I remember correctly. So, to be fair, with 1 set of wings, he still finished ahead of his teammate, and that's always the marker in MotoGP. We've come to Honda, so we're going to move on as well. And we'll try and get a word with their tech director, Romano Albeziano. I'm sure he's going to get fetched out very soon. On the Honda, it looks like pretty much they've got a lot of things to get through. Both Luca Marini and Joan Mir said yesterday in their media debriefs that they've got a lot to get through. They've got to trial a lot. But at least for the time being, when we had a little walk down pit lane earlier, their bikes look largely the same. So when we get stuck in with Romano Albeziano, hopefully we'll have some answers. How was the Spanish GP for Honda? Well, if you haven't got a number 5 on the bike, I think it would be fair to say it was pretty difficult because Luca Marini, terrible start. He obviously got punted off at turn 2. He actually had quite a lot of, I think it was on the left side of the bike, quite a lot of damage. So he was going back through the field. He said that had that not happened, the potential was around P8. Joan Mir, obviously also starting on the same row as Luca, back on the 5th row. Joan Mir, double long lap penalty. So his Grand Prix was always going to be based off that. He did manage to get in to the points. So, there were some positives to come. Just quickly before we do chat with Romano Albeziano, Diogo Moreira, good to see him up and walking because he had a bit of a fast crash earlier on. It's a baptism of fire for the reigning Moto2 world champion. But we are joined now, I can tell you, by Romano Albeziano, tech boss here down at Honda for the factory team. Romano, we're testing. What are you testing?
Sorry?
We're testing, so what are you testing here this Jerez Test?
A lot of things. Honestly, not many new parts, but many new concepts of setup. Very interesting from mechanical and electronic point of view. So we are very one of the best tests I've been participating in so far.
Both riders said yesterday that, as you say, this wasn't an item-focused test. This was all about trying to find the feeling. Have you spoke with both the riders so far this morning, and what's been their feedback?
Yeah, in general, positive. Okay, so far we are only at 50% of the job, but anyway, the feedback we had from the riders is positive on 2-3 ideas that we plan to test, so it's promising for the rest of the season.
And what are you looking to improve from both Luca and Johan? What feeling are they chasing? What areas of performance are you looking to improve?
Always improving. Riders always asking for more grip. I think all the riders in this paddock are asking for this, and we're for sure trying to satisfy their request, and which is real grip or the possibility to control better the grip. In both cases, we had some clear positive answer, and then we see in the afternoon we will focus on some more, let's say, chassis-related items for improving the turning, especially high speed.
Final question, Johan Zarco is obviously the benchmark Honda this weekend. Were you able to look at what he's been doing this weekend and apply some of that to what you guys need to do, or it's too different to really apply that to Luca and Johan?
No, it's not too different. The bike setup is quite close between all these riders, and we had two opposite, let's say, situation for Zarco and factory riders. So Zarco has this fantastic ability to perform in wet conditions. So he exploits his position on the grid in the perfect way, while the opposite happened to Johan and Luca, that were quite unlucky. But at the end, we believe the performance of the riders is quite on the same line in this moment. And that's good because we can work with all three, getting more or less the same answer on the new items proposed. So it's, we hope we made a step in the correct way for the season.
That's all. Le Mans next. Honda won there last year, so good luck. See you in France, Romano. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Let's move on, guys. Thank you very much to Honda. Let's carry on. We've got to move up here. We're going to get to Aprilia next. Just to touch on something that Romano said just then about this weekend for Honda. That is absolutely true. Johan Zarco did master the wet conditions, but he had good pace on Friday, so that's why he was able to stay there. Unfortunately, Luca Marini, Johan Mir find themselves out of position on the grid, and then they can't come through. So that's the big problem that both of the factory Hondas had. And just to touch on another note, we did see him walking just before we started that interview. Diogo Moreira, obviously a rookie, baptism of fire, as I said, coming into this round. Bad position in qualifying, paid the price in the Grand Prix. Aprilia, well, they'd up until the Spanish Grand Prix won the last 5 GPs. At last, Paolo Bonora's team have been stopped in their tracks, but if you can't win, finish second, and that's what Marco Bezzecchi done. First, about the Grand Prix, Paolo, satisfied? Happy?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because after not an easy Saturday situation, the key was to forget everything, to keep the mind clear, to be very focused on the Sunday, and we did the job. We did a correct job. We analyzed where we didn't do in a good way, and in particular the two riders work in very good way. They did the launch achieving 6th position, if I'm not wrong. Orge and Marco as well was in the close to the first places immediately at the first corner. So happy about the result, also because we achieve for Aprilia bikes in the first 6 places. So it means that the bike is not so bad, to be honest with you. But we have to thank in particular our riders, both Marco and Jorge, for their passion. I like to say for their passion, for their energy, to keep every time the mind focus on the result, and also the Trackhouse guys, because they show very good potential until now. Despite of the technical problem, the small technical problem that Ogura had during the Austin race, he already showed that he's part of the game. So happy about it.
We had a chat with obviously all the riders yesterday, and it looks like today there's been work on time attack. That looks like they're trying to get the most out of getting one lap in, because qualifying maybe not been as strong as the Grand Prix. Is that what you've been working on today, and what else is left for the afternoon?
Yeah, you are fully right. In Trackhouse side, they are working on the time attack, but also in the factory one, probably they will try something at the end of the test, because to be in the top area is they will say to you no, but they take care also about the result during the test for sure. During this morning, the factory test some aerodynamics parts, but you will see something even better during the afternoon. Okay, in particular in Marco side there is something for the afternoon. They are working on the base setup for Jorge, because he missed the opportunity during the winter test, as you know, to make a lot of kilometers. So we are working on his side to the fine tuning of this setup, and as usual on all 4 riders we are working on the electronic side to give to them the confidence, to raise up the confidence with the bike.
We saw when we walked down pit lane all of the rear aero. It looks like it's gone back to the wing, but for Lorenzo Savadori, he's got the Stegosaurus, the crazy 10-element thing at the back. Is there any idea to maybe stick that on either Jorge or Marco this afternoon?
At the moment, no. It is not in plan to do this. It's something that we are now collecting data even more with Lorenzo. The work of our test team is here during the wild card, in particular during the test, to collect data. And during this, it's not a break. It's a short time until the next race. We will analyze in a better way the data at home to understand if we can do even better for the next races.
Go and get some lunch, Paolo. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thanks to you. Thanks.
Right, come with me, guys. Let's move on. Worth noting that Trackhouse obviously working on that one lap pace, because it's something that both Ogura and Ralph Fernandez haven't really been able to exploit week in, week out, particularly in the case of his qualifying hasn't been as strong as his Grand Prix performances. We are now at VR46, where we can grab a word with team boss Pablo Nieto, who's rider Fabio Di Gianantonio's top Ducati in the championship. Pablo, great to see you. Busy, I'm sure, after the Grand Prix. We're here testing. So how's it going so far?
Not bad. First of all, because it's very important for us. We don't have enough time to try the things for the bike, because during the weekend it's very important that we are focused on the performance, and now it's important for us because we can try a lot of things, set up some pieces from Ducati, so we are very happy.
What are you trying? What are these lots of things?
I don't know yet. I have to check. No, but it's important because Ducati are working a lot, so this is very important. So and also it's some pieces that we already try, but sometimes it's difficult to try on weekend, no? So it's good to have this kind of test.
Frankie's had a real dip in form. I think it's been fair to say he got that sprint podium, of course, but in the dry, he's obviously lacking some kind of feeling. What's he working on today to try and give him that confidence to fight again, like we saw in the opening couple of rounds?
Yeah, with Frankie it's a little bit more difficult because we don't have so many things to try. First of all, we try to give him back the feeling that we had last year with him, but also it's very important to make a lot of things with the setup of the bike, try different things that you never try on the weekend, and I think he has the potential to try to be on the top again.
And on the other side of the box, we've seen Fabio again on the podium this weekend on a Sunday GP, so you've got to be happy with that. So moving forward, obviously you're top Ducatis at the moment, but how do you stay there?
Yeah, with Dija at the moment we're a very good moment. No, from the beginner he has a very good feeling with the bike. It's really important today because like Frank, during the weekend. Race weekend is very difficult to try different things that you have in your mind, and now we can try, but we have to say that we are very happy because at the moment we are fighting for the podium. It's important and we have to continue like this.
Final question, what can we expect from the guys this afternoon? Are they time attacking? Are they looking for that set-in? What are hard items? What is it?
Yeah, we have to decide it. At the moment, if all the works is done, maybe we can make it, but that's not the main thing that we have to do today. No, it's much more important to try the things, and then we will see. 4
rounds in, top Ducati in the championship sounds okay, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice because when you are on the top of your manufacturer, that's very important for the rider, for the team. But that's the beginner.
All the best, Pablo. See you in Le Mans.
Thank you. Wait one second.
Oh, well, he kept his promise. Well, I tell you what, it's a good job I didn't ask about your 2027 rider lineup then, isn't it? I'd have felt very bad about that. Well, look at that. I did ask for it, and I did get it. Cheers, guys. You've just become my favourite team manager, mate. All the best, Pablo.
Thank you.
Right, well, this is going to be awkward when we get down to Yamaha, isn't it? Let's keep moving. Not bad at all, that. I tell you what, if I can have a glamorous assistant, Luke Spain, come and grab us that one, thank you very much, and just hide that away from Yamaha at the moment. We don't obviously have no favourites in MotoGP. All the Italians getting stuck into their hospitality, pasta pizza all round, I'm sure. And then as we get to, let's just have a quick look at Fermin Aldeguer. It's worth noting Fermin is still far from fully fit. He's with the crutch, as you can see. So that broken leg that he suffered pre-season, been a bit of a mithering injury. We're passing Grassini. Of course, it was Alex Marquez who, at least on the last point of me checking the timing screens, he did top the first session of the day. So really good stuff from Alex. Of course, he's in great form from Sunday's Grand Prix. He really has been fantastic. We've just passed Pramac. Let's have a quick word on them. Toprak, big crash, as I said earlier. Toprak, a little bit of a struggling weekend, I think, we're circuit. We thought he knew. Here's Toprak now, just pulled him. He's obviously just come back from having a little bit of a change. He's probably been over to the medical centre, maybe just to get checked up, because turn 3, turn 4 crash here at Jerez isn't ideal. But there's Toprak, he's just going to go in now. And when we do have a moment, I am hoping that we can grab a very quick word with Maio Meregali, because I want to ask him obviously about this test. Yamaha are the most interesting, I suppose, as they're in the development stages of the V4 Yamaha. What's Toprak doing just out of camera shot? Is he and some massage to Gino Borsoi there? Well, if the racing side doesn't work out, then I suppose maybe the physio side might be okay for Toprak, but Gino Borsoi saying he just has a problem on the other side as well. Toprak, it is brilliant to have him in the MotoGP paddock. I can tell you that Maio Meregali is on his way now, so we are going to have a final catch-up. Maio, thanks for joining us. Obviously a big test this, because we're in season now, but it's your first chance to really get stuck in and not try and be developing whilst you're racing. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. I mean, it means that, and I would like to say that we are sharing the same program among all the riders, and tonight we will collect all the information. In this moment, we have not all the riders already tested all the material because we don't have material enough for all the 4 riders. However, so far the data the information we collect are quite clear. So then, in at least one field, we already understood the direction. Parts that we are evaluating are one different chassis, one aerodynamic package. Then we are also using this day to evaluate also controls that during the race weekend we really couldn't. So we will try to run until we have tire enough to do it.
What about the V4? Firstly, assess how it's been across the opening 4 GPs of the year, and are there any updates here? Are there any small modifications to improve performance on that front?
Yes and not. I mean, the overall engine package is the same. We update some details around the engine that gave some. I mean, we know that we got some slightly performance, but as you can imagine, when the difference is not big, the rider cannot feel. But we are working in a way that if we know that the results or the number are good and the rider cannot feel anything, we will continue using.
You mentioned the aero. There seems to be some winglets now on the back of the bike on Fabio's side. We've also seen them in top rack side for Pramac. What's the feedback been about that?
It's not only that. The rear wings has been used during the race weekend. But the top rack, and I think Jack already tried different aero package included inside and the bottom. This afternoon also the Monster will try. The seat wings are, to give you an answer, is what I told you before. We know that the number are slightly better. For the rider is impossible to feel, but we will keep on the bike.
Finally, how is the atmosphere within Yamaha at the moment? We know you guys aren't used to being where you are, but this is the development side of what is a whole new philosophy within the brand. So how is the atmosphere in the race weekends? It's got to be difficult. It's got to be hard to try and keep motivated, I suppose, for you guys listening to the feedback of Fabio and likewise for them on track, because they're also development riders at this point.
For sure, we were aware that it was not going to be easy. I have to say that I thought it could be slightly easier. Unfortunately, we are facing on the path maybe problem that we didn't expect, that are slowing down a bit the process of the development. But the team itself is pushing as always and as much as we can, and the atmosphere, I will say that is good. And when there is something new, already this brings positivity and it's an additional boost. We are all aware that since we started this season, we thought and we talked internally that the first part was going to be demanding and tough, but then we are still believing that in the second part we might start seeing different results. So let's say that we are just at the beginning, and so far we are where we thought we could be.
Well, let's hope you improve. You will naturally throughout the year, and some good results to highlight what's been a tricky year, but we knew that was always going to be the case. Maio, all the best. Enjoy the rest of the test.
Thank you.
Right, guys, that's pretty much a wrap, really. Let's get out, I've got to say, let's get out into some shade, please, if we can, as I'm melting here. Obviously, black is not my colour, even if it's slimming, but never mind. Yamaha, big topic of conversation. We know that they're going to be struggling in 2026. The feedback from Fabio is almost seeming endlessly critical at the moment. There's not a lot positive he's saying in his debriefs. But for the rest, particularly for Toprak, who's just coming out there, Jack Miller was relatively positive because he had a fresh engine for this Grand Prix and actually felt like he could work with it and fight amongst those who were around him. So it's not all doom and gloom. And anyway, doom and gloom, is it doom and gloom or is it reality? I mean, they're getting around here sometimes within a second of a Ducati, of an Aprilia that has been developed for ages with the same engine configuration. The V4 is brand new for Yamaha, it's a brand new philosophy. So the fact that they're actually a second in is probably a little bit more encouraging than most people are actually giving it credit for. About the other manufacturers, well, very strong stuff indeed, right away across Aprilia, Ducati, KTM have obviously come out and been strong today. Acosta was right in the mix. Honda, they're going to be, you know, it seems like Honda are kind of in that setting up phase here in Jerez. They're not really trying any hard items, but they are going to be trying to refine feeling because their riders, particularly Joan Mir, when they're on the limit, don't feel when that limit's about to be passed and it throws them into the gravel. So probably trying to get a bit more comfortable with the feeling of that bike. And as for Jerez, well, it's warm. We're going to go into have some lunch now, maybe some rabo de toro, I'm not sure, but hopefully so. We're going to get out of here. We're going to leave you for now. You can keep up with all the MotoGP testing action across our social media, Instagram, Twitter, formerly, well, X, whatever it's called now, Facebook, I'm sure, YouTube, where you're watching this probably. You'll have highlights, you'll have everything that you need as a roundup to today's test. And if you don't do that, check out MotoGP.com, all the latest news, stories, and of course the live blog for minute-by-minute updates for all the big actions that happen out on track and all the news that breaks down here in pit lane. But I'm going to go and get my shooting boots on, don the Brazil top, and get on the football field to score some goals. See you in Le Mans.